Hello, happy Friday, and welcome to the next video in the series that I've been doing on decentralized exchanges or DEXs, and specifically my focus has been recently on the Osmosis Zone, because there is a lot of exciting stuff going on in the Osmosis Zone right now, and specifically Superfluid Staking, and so that's what this video is going to be covering. I'm going to be going over the semantics of the three new pools, which is the Osmo Stargaze, the Osmo Secret, and the Osmo Chronos pools, and those are 604, 584, and 9 respectively, and I'm going to show you those pools in a second here. And we're going to talk about the tokenomics a little bit and how superfluid staking works, and we're actually going to go ahead and walk through the enabling of superfluid staking in the Osmosis Zone. So let's go ahead and dive in. However, before we do, as always, please remember that all of this information is for entertainment educational purposes only. I'm not an investment advisor. This isn't investment advice, and I'm not responsible for any fiat tokens or fees that you incur or lose as a result of following the steps in this video. So first things first here, we've got sort of the April Fool's Osmosis Zone page here, but all we need to do is come down here and click on send it, and that is going to bring us into the Osmosis Zone app. So as I said, Superfluid Staking, Prop 185, was just voted on a few days ago. In fact, you can see voting ended on the 31st. So yesterday is when voting ended. And I definitely voted yes on this proposal. And what it's doing is it's adding Superfluid Staking to these three pools here, two of which I'm actually invested in, and that's the Osmo Secret and the Osmo Chronos pools. I don't have any Osmo Stars, but that's okay. And I would always recommend, I highly recommend, that you click on the link there at the bottom and come take a look at the discussion, because there are some good questions here, and this question in particular regarding the tokenomics and what the risks are or what the side effects might be of enabling superfluid staking. So again, some good information that you can learn about superfluid staking and what the proposal is all about. So let's dive back to the Osmosis Zone. Let's go under the Pools tab here, and you'll notice that all of the pools where superfluid staking is enabled, or available, I should say, is they're going to have sort of this purple outline around the outside. And so you can see Pool 1, which was the Osmo Atom pool. That was the first pool to have superfluid staking enabled. That's got sort of that purplish, bluish border around it. Number 9 right here, Chronos Osmo. And so we're going to come down here a little bit further, and you can see you've got the UST Osmo, the Luna Osmo, and if we come all the way down, you'll see 584 and then 604, right? So you've got Secret and Stars. And let's go ahead and enable superfluid staking in one of these pools. And we're going to go ahead, I've got a small amount of UST and Osmo, and we're going to give it a go. So the first thing we would want to do here is we're going to add or remove liquidity. And I'm going to go ahead and max out the UST, and we would click on Add Liquidity. I'll go with the 0 fee there because we don't have a whole lot of UST or Osmo. As you can see, it's about 50 cents worth. And so what I'm doing right here is I'm creating the liquidity pair or the LP pair. And we get a little insufficient funds action, and that's okay. So I'm going to dial back the amount when I max here, and let's pull back. And we'll just do 50 cents like that, and we'll add the liquidity. Again, we're dealing with such a small amount here that it looks like it didn't like it initially because we possibly didn't leave enough behind. And there we go, transaction successful. So as you can see, we've got $1 here that we can go ahead and click Start Earning. So I'm going to click 14 days, and you can see that the APR, I'm going to break this down for you, is currently 84% plus the 15% superfluid staking. If you want to look at it as a bonus, you certainly can. And I'm going to go ahead and click on Max. We'll click on Next, and here's where you're going to pick a validator, because remember, half of the Osmo that makes up that LP pair. And I'm going to roll down to the bottom of the screen here in a second and break that down for you. So half of the Osmo that we've dedicated to make up this LP pairing with the UST, half of that Osmo I'm staking, right? This is superfluid staking, where I'm putting in liquidity with the LP tokens, which is the UST Osmo 50/50 from a dollar perspective, not the number of tokens, but from the dollar perspective. And half of that Osmo that I put in here, I can now stake. And that's superfluid staking. So let's just go ahead and we'll take the first validator here. I'll click bond and stake. And we're going to stick with that low transaction fee in the hopes that we can avoid any failures here because we're kind of running low. And there we go. So as soon as I do that, you can see that it says superfluid staking is inactive. So you have to click on Go Superfluid because I don't believe it's auto-magically going to do this for us. So I'm going to go ahead and click Go Superfluid. Again, it's going to come back with the validator. Now, it's interesting, in pools that I was already in, it didn't behave like this. So in pools that I already had LP pairings in, I didn't have to click on the Go Superfluid after creating the LP pairs because I already had LP pairs in there. And you could see it looks like the superfluid staking is already being used. So maybe what I'm seeing here is, let me refresh, and there we go. So it looked like I didn't wait long enough for the page to refresh. And I thought maybe because it was new, a new LP pairing here in this pool, first time being used, that maybe it was going to make me click Go Superfluid. But as you can see, it is enabled. And so that is the validator that we selected. And here is how this works. So down here on the bottom of the screen, you have your LP pairings, right? The two tokens that make up my liquidity provider or my liquidity pair. And of these two tokens, which are 50/50, and remember, it's 50/50 in terms of dollar amount. It's not 50/50 in terms of number of tokens. So again, Osmo's right around $8 a token. UST is always going to be $1. And so we're always going to have more Osmo, or I should say more UST tokens to bring us up to the number of Osmo tokens that we have in terms of dollar amount. So it's 50/50 in terms of dollar amount. And then of this 50% right here, right? And so let's say for the sake of argument that we had $10 in Osmo that we had staked here, right? Half of that $10 that makes up the half of the liquidity pair, half of that we earn a superfluid staking APR on. So in other words, on all available assets in the pool where superfluid staking is enabled, I'm earning 100% APR on the LP tokens, as well as 100% on half of the Osmo that makes up the LP pair, right? And that's why I'll say you're going to earn 100% across all eligible assets in the pool. And eligible assets is defined as your LP pairing tokens. You're earning 100% APR on those, and you're earning 100% APR on the Osmo, half of it that makes up this LP pairing here, right? So 50% of the LP pairing, we're just saying it's $10, and then up here, if it was $10, you would be earning 100% on that $5. Now, the concern is that this is going to push down the APR and possibly put some sell pressure onto Osmo or in other pools, or it's going to incentivize people to pull out from other pools, unbond from the other pools, and then move into pools where superfluid staking is enabled in order to take advantage of that APR. Now, remember, there's a difference here between when we're staking in the Osmosis Zone and when we're doing straight staking, right? So here is, let's go ahead and go to the Cosmos hub. So you can see here I've got, again, this is sort of a practice wallet I use. So you can see we've got a little bit of Atom in here. And right now, the Atom straight staking rate. And straight staking is defined as I'm taking Atom tokens and I'm staking those Atom tokens and I'm receiving Atom tokens in return as payout for the APR. And that's very different from the superfluid staking because the UST that's down here, or in other pools where you would have Atom or Stargaze or Secret or Chronos, you're not earning those other assets. You're earning Osmo. And so that's a question I typically get. Should I do superfluid staking here in the Osmosis Zone, or should I straight stake my tokens? And that's going to come down to what is it you're trying to achieve and what are the tokens that you're trying to earn. Now, the counter argument to, okay, if I wanted to earn Atom, then I would come in here and this is where you should stake your Atom. Now, the counter to this is you're only earning right around 16.5% here. So you can see that if you were to swap the Atom, half of it to UST, half of it to Osmo, and put it into this pool, you would be earning 100%. In other words, roughly 84% higher return by using the Osmosis Zone UST Osmo pool. And it would stand that you're probably going to get you're going to get a much better return here in Osmo. And there's nothing that says that you can't then swap that Osmo to Atom if that's what you're trying to achieve. And so again, there's many different ways that you can approach this, but in terms of superfluid staking, that's how you enable it. And you can see here in the Osmo UST pool that you actually earn a little bit of a bonus in Luna. Now, I can say from experience, and I have a pretty decent sized stake in this pool in my actual wallet, that you're not getting very much Luna at all. It is a fractional amount of Luna every day. So it's not very much. You can see here that they're only allocating 2,931 incentives over 6 epochs. However, the superfluid staking is really where you're going to get the benefit of creating the liquidity provider tokens here on Osmosis Zone and then using the pools where superfluid staking is enabled. And again, you get paid out in Osmo, but you could then take that Osmo, come to the trade tab, and you could swap it for Atom, just like this right here, if that's what you wanted to do, instead of doing the straight staking. Again, if you're not a fan of the Osmosis Zone in Osmo, then maybe straight staking is going to be for you. However, I'm a huge believer in what Sunny and the team are doing here with the superfluid staking. I know there was a lot of anger or sort of confusion as to why the Atom JUNO pool hasn't had superfluid staking activated yet. I think we're going to see it in other pools before we see it in the Atom JUNO pool. Just simply because of a lot of the things that are going on with JUNO right now. I think we're waiting for the dust to settle there before you see that activated here. And that JUNO Atom pool is pool 498, if you were wondering, right? And again, the question would be, okay, well, how are we going to do that? Because now we're talking about dealing with 2 tokens, neither of which is Osmo. And that's really where all of this is ultimately headed, is what we're looking at is what Sunny refers to as interfluid staking or superfluid staking version 2. And so take a look here at the JUNO Osmo pool. It's earning 125% APR. They've got a very sizable amount of JUNO sort of bonus rewards that are being given out for people that are staking here with LP pairings and providing liquidity. And again, this is, 125%. That's nothing to ignore in terms of great APRs. And you're getting a little bit of additional JUNO on the side in addition to the Osmo. Now, this pool is not enabled for superfluid staking, but back to this interfluid staking or superfluid staking V2, and what we're really looking at having happen here is that you could do superfluid staking, and so then half of this 50% of Osmo that makes up the LP pair, you're going to get the, the superfluid staking that you saw here, and because it's interfluid, right? We're going to be going cross-chain. You may be going to the JUNO blockchain, and maybe on half of the JUNO, you're earning a little bit additional as well. Again, this is sort of the end goal is to where you can actually start providing staking of non-Osmo with other chains to provide security, earn a little bit of staking. And again, one of the things that people are concerned about is the APRs are going to drop, and that's certainly what has happened, but it hasn't been, they haven't dropped to the point where it's sort of, very crazy, or that you would be like, well, this is not even worth it. Because as you can see here, when they enabled Superfluid Staking originally on Pool 1, Atom Osmo, this was right around 80%. Now they've brought additional pools online, and I think now there's a total of 6 pools that are online, and it's only dropped around 17%. But remember, that's for straight staking, right? That's for straight staking of Osmo. If you're doing superfluid staking with Osmo, yes, the overall APR has come down, but you're now earning, like the example I showed you with Osmo UST, 100% on half of the Osmo. You were not getting that before. You were only earning the interest rate, the APR, on the LP pair, right? So now not only are you earning the 100% on the LP pair, you're earning 100% on half of the Osmo that makes up the LP pair. And that is superfluid staking in a nutshell. All right. Well, that's all I've got in this video. Again, I apologize there for the sort of the snafu with the superfluid staking and the browser not refreshing for me quick enough there. But that is how you do it. Super simple, and there are some, great APRs that are out there right now on the superfluid staking side. All right, guys, as always, thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate your time. I hope I've earned the privilege of your time. Have a great weekend, and I hope to see you in the next video.